with a tremendous opportunity to sit down with Barbara Marquez O'Neill. She specializes in alternative modalities. But for this interview, we spoke mostly about her experience as being an end of life doula. We really hope that you enjoy the interview. It was fun to sit down and chat with her. Thank you again for watching, and we hope you enjoy.
You're sitting with Barbara Marquez O'Neill.
And you're located in Ventura?
Yes, I am.
That's Ventura, California?
Yeah.
What is an end of life doula?
Well, there's different names to it.
Okay.
There's end of life doula, death doula. In my case, when I took the training, it was death midwifery.
Death midwifery.
Midwifery, yes. And the other term that I have also heard is end of life guide.
Life guide.
Yeah, and so what it is basically a whole gamut of service. It's being in service, coming from a patient-centered place where you learn about what they need, what they believe, what they culturally hold to their hearts. And then I work with them wherever they are in whatever service they want. So what would that look like? There's pre-death. There's in the moment and when they're in that place of close transition, and then post-death where there's issues of grief with the family that I could work with. In end of life, as an end of life doula, the beauty of it is that you could work with medical directives. Where are they? Do they need that? Are they on hospice? Are they not on hospice? Do they need palliative care? Just taking a whole assessment of where they are in their process. And you can, there's beautiful pieces of it, like if they want to do maybe what's called a legacy project, like what is it that they would like to do, and to be able to sit with them and say they want to put together a scrapbook, or they want to do something different, like what they really want to have for their funeral, or before or after. And then I explain also what the law says and what it is as far as if they want to have a home death, a home funeral, if that looks a little different, whether they have to be embalmed or not. There's different things that they may desire that they may not even know the questions to ask around that. And so I just educate. And some people, I am working with a woman right now who found me through somebody else, and then she's not near her, she's not real close to end of life. She's just been moved into an assisted living, but she had me read a book. She wanted to do something on the Celtic background, and so she gave me books to read that she wanted me to know whether I could provide the service that she would like, the way she would like it. And so it's broad, it's what the person needs, and it's about respect, and it's about being of service. I look at that as a service to the individual and to the family.
It sounds like it's very customized and tailored to each individual based on their wants and needs.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when somebody contacts you, like how does that conversation go? Like they find you via a referral or on the internet, and they're looking around and they're not too sure what you do, or what they maybe have heard about it. Well, what do you say, or how do you explain it to them in a kind of a short sense of how you could help them?
Well, when people have come to me, it's mostly been through referral, through word of mouth, and so they have a sense already of what it is that I'm able to provide. And so the conversation would go is I'd ask them what they need. They'd ask me to explain what I do. And some people want Reiki with it. Some people don't. The spiritual counseling, helping them with guidance wherever they are, educating them, providing resources also. If I'm not the person to do this particular thing, I will find a resource for them, or point them in a direction that may be helpful. So it's a conversation that isn't real short.
What is Reiki?
Basically, it's energy work.
Okay.
It's, bringing in different energies. What's wonderful about it is it does no harm. It's, goes to where the body needs it. It's, I call it Reiki medicine. I'm not the only one that calls it medicine, but, um, and it's helps people, especially with end of life. It helps them, get into a relaxed state. If there's something going on in the body that is out of balance, it helps balance it. And everybody's response to it is totally unique. With end of life, I get the sense that they take it to a different level. With the people that I've worked with, I noticed things from them and their behavior that indicates to me that they are experiencing it in a very spiritual way. And
Hmm.
basically, that's how I like to use it. It's not coming from me, the energy is through me.
So within the traditional hospice route, there's a system in place where a person reaches a certain point in, medicine is administered and so on and so forth. From your perspective, what does that look like? How does that play out as these diagnoses progress?
Mhm. Well, as far as from my perspective, it's about comfort for the person. And I believe that um, I don't interfere with that. I don't put my own perspective on anything. If somebody towards the end, often morphine is given. Sometimes they give them things for people for anxiety. And I respect that if that's what the family wants. And I think that the most important thing is that they're getting what they need. The person gets what they need. Well, the other thing is that when you're working with hospice or palliative care, they've got different staff who do different things. Like there's the last hospice one work group that I worked with. They have um, social worker, they have the chaplain, they have Reiki, they even, offer Reiki. There's, different people do what they do. I do multiple components of some of that. Like, I'm not a chaplain, but I'm a spiritual counselor. I do energy work. I work with them. I'm not a social worker, but I do connect them to social services if they need it. So I wear multiple hats. It's that I'm not working directly on purpose within a corporation or within an agency.
And you're not working with like just within one sector of this big thing. Hang
Yeah, and that personally is by design. I prefer that because then it's independent. It's not you're not within the realms of it's different when you're working within a system. Now, have I worked with a system? Yeah. And would I work with a system? I love teamwork. I love it when people respect the role that each person brings to the process because really it's about the person who's transitioning. It's that person, what they need. It's a service, and whoever can provide that service really, for me, it's like from a place of at the core, love. It's about learning to love that person. And I have seen some hospice nurses who are like that, who can provide that care, that caring perspective. We all bring our own little flavor to it, right? and but I always remember that love, compassion, respect, they're core values that I hold very close to me and that I want to be able to have that person, whether they can speak or not, understand and feel. And I think that's what we're talking about here is about connection and honoring that person's process.
So if somebody is not wanting morphine and going the medical route, are there different options out there when surrounding death or as it gets closer?
That's where I think Well, the answer is yes, there are. I mean, the natural way would be just to be there present with them if they are choosing not to eat, if they're choosing not to take any kind of medication, um, explaining to them what happens to the body at the time of transition, explaining to the family what happens with transition. That's where I think why I like the energy work because that really helps calm. It's very calming and can help a person. Um,
Do you draw on your Reiki?
grow.
You draw on the Reiki to help them with their energy to calm
Oh,
their nervous system?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I do that. And I find that, and that's one of the reasons I got the death midwifery training first. And then I realized that I felt like there was something missing. So I went then and got my different degrees or different levels of Reiki. I'm a Reiki master practitioner. And so the different levels, I even can do distance. Like, say, I had a couple of clients who I worked with um, through FaceTime because they were further away and because they wanted to have the Reiki, and so I would do it through there. But then I was also doing counseling, spiritual counseling, and there's a lot of grief work to be done. Because the the if a person can be in a place of calm, they've already made the decision that they know where they're going to go as far as their end of life, that's one thing. But the family is some may be having a hard time of.
So you work with the family as well?
Oh, yeah, if they want. Yeah, if
Yeah.
they want. The one usually it's the person who's got the, directive to be the medical directive person. Sometimes the other, family members will come in. Yeah, I work with whoever wants to talk with me, whoever wants my service. Again, it's about service and love.
Okay, so your services, how are they paid?
Right,
Is it cash or insurance or
right
Right.
now, Medicare or Medi-Cal or any insurance company, they don't pay for what would be considered by them as alternative care. So it's all individual pay. The way I work, I don't work the same as everybody else. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Some people charge a flat rate. I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars and I'll be with you and this is what I'll provide. Somebody else may do an hourly rate. I've had people who just said, I want to pay you by the hour, however long you're here. Most of the time, I will work on a sliding scale. I like to come from where um, again, because it's of service, I feel it's important I always trust that people will um, pay me in a way that they can afford. I trust that they're being honest with me, and I accept that because I think it's important to do that. So it varies. Some people you know, will say, "Oh, this is what I want to pay, and I think this is what it's worth," and other people, "I can't. This is all I can give." In some short term kinds of things, I've even just gifted it. So.
To me, I find it so I don't know, maybe it's me, but I find it so mind-boggling. If you go back 100 years, and then every time before 100 years, this is pretty much how it worked.
Hmm.
These last 100 years have kinda changed the whole gamut of how our life ends regarding insurances, hospice care, medical, the drugs, like, all of that. But for all of time, this is kinda how it always was.
Exactly.
Which is makes sense to me, but I think it scares a lot of people out there because the question or the stigma or there's a lot around it that people don't understand. Um, I don't know.
And I think you've hit upon it right there. They don't understand it.
Yeah.
And because of that lack of understanding, and because there doesn't seem to be in medical terms, they always call it a standard of care. You have a protocol. You have to do it this way. You have to do it this way to meet the insurance protocol. You could be denied, or all of that kind of things, which bogs down a lot of the way it's done. I would love to see that it was accepted, but it's hard to have insurance company that's very, and then also the science community. Well, where's the scientific? Where have you done? Have you done studies, and have you? So there's all this stuff, but there are things that people have done as far as even in healing modalities where they've actually done some studies on, things like, different kinds of what's considered alternative therapy.
I would think even just you being around in the services and the Reiki and just having that calmness would be enough.
Oh, well,
Think it'd be enough, but it's not, unfortunately.
also, I would like, since you like to do research as your group, as your you and your wife, one person of a team that I would love to see, that I would love to work with, is a thanatologist. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's where they actually and they have to study, like, I think it's like 4 years before you are a thanatologist, but you have to be a musician to do it. But it's use of music, the harp specifically, and they actually gauge, like, they do an assessment of the individual and then harmonize the frequency, vibration of the music to the individual. And I
Yeah,
looked
so
into it locally, and I just
awesome.
can't find anybody. So I'll play harp music sometimes,
There's a lot to that. There's
oh,
so much to all that, like
absolutely,
the frequencies and all of that.
absolutely.
More than the medical industry or the medical community would ever be able to comprehend or understand. So you do counseling, you do Reiki, you do life coaching,
Yeah, yeah.
you do
Life guidance. I like. It's like people. Yeah, people get stuck, and they do. Some people come for me just for that. I do education about. I use a biological model, which is I help people learn about the autonomic nervous system, what happens in the brain, how does it impact you, your sympathetic, parasympathetic, how to bring yourself back in when you're in crisis, work with people who have been in traumatized.
you
I
chakra
for
clearing and
Oh, I do chakra clearing, balancing. I do all that stuff, and so it just depends. Some people come, and they come for a lot. I have some people I've worked with for years, and some people who have come to me for, a couple of times. And some people have a woman who calls me and she says, "I just call because I need an appointment. I need a barber fix." It's so cute. I don't see her all that much, but it's just it's all different. And so sometimes I have a lot of clients, and sometimes I don't. So it's kind of
so when someone is at the end there, you meet them where they're at. You do not say, "Hey, this is like what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play music, I'm gonna do Reiki." You just are there for that person, that family, and to be a resource, whether that be playing music or doing Reiki or just maybe sitting there with
yes, educating them.
educating.
Connecting them to other resources, letting them know that there are other options rather than the mainstream kind of options. Because when I took my training, I didn't know about all the different options that there were. I didn't even want. I thought, yeah, I always thought, yeah, I wanna have like a green funeral. I definitely do. I care for the earth, and I don't want to have all that formaldehyde going into the ground, and all these kinds of things. I thought I didn't know that I had a choice.
Yeah.
And again, it's a without judgment. If somebody chooses to do that, that's their choice. We have choices, and end of life should be just the same.